the 22nd. I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And we led that march, teachers, for the first time in the United States, coming down the steps of Clark Elementary School, down Lawn Street, down to Alabama Avenue, down to the courthouse. Teachers, for the first time. Getting down to the county courthouse, that was standing next to the steps, the superintendent of education, the chairman of the board of education, to persuade me, because I was a teacher, to take the teachers back to the school, because we had made a point, and that no longer should we try to pursue that right from that particular point. And I told them we had a right to be at the county courthouse. It was our courthouse. We were not backing down from our right to be there. And I asked the superintendent and the chairman of the board, who signed my check, to step aside. We went up those steps. Jim Clark had his deputies across the door, and he indicated that we were trying to make a mockery out of his courthouse. And we indicated to him that that was our courthouse also. He gave us 1 minute to move off of those steps. At the expiration of that minute, he took the billy club and jabbed us down the steps on the sidewalk. And my partner, Mr. A.J. Durgan, who, as I said, was my teacher, he was not quite used to that stuff like I was. And he asked me on the ground, he said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah. And so we went back the second time. We jabbed down the steps after a minute, and he asked me the same question. I gave him the same answer, and he gave me the same response. The third time, when I really was trying to get all the teachers arrested, because teachers were not aware of the tremendous influence. They were the largest black professional group here in Dallas County. And so after going back the third time, he said, "If you don't get off these steps, Jim Clark," said, "we're going to arrest you." I said to myself, exactly what I want you to do. And so at about 45 seconds before that minute expired, someone on the inside of the courthouse came and pulled him on the inside of the courthouse door and said, I didn't go in there with him, but I can imagine what they told him. For goodness sake, don't arrest those teachers.
That's right. That's right. That's the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. Welcome to the Lineage Podcast. Again, on this Thankful Thursday. It's always great to be here. This is one of my favorite highlights of the week.
Yes, sir.
Do this show every week, man. It's a blessing, and I don't take it lightly. We didn't have the show last Thursday. Before we get into everything, and I'll tell you why. I got a picture. This is my 7th grade teacher. She announced her retirement a few months ago, but we were blessed to be invited to Miss Samantha Fury, let me say, a retirement celebration, and we was there, and she invited us. Got to talk to her husband Bill and her, and the remarkable words that were said about her was second to none. She really made an impact on the county and her schools that she touched and everything. So she was my 7th grade. She is my 7th grade teacher. It's crazy. I call her Miss Fury and her husband Bill. That's a long story. I'll tell you about that later. Why it's like that. We met on two different type of vibes. So she was my 7th grade English teacher, man, and she like fam to us. She family to us. So we really appreciate her. So that's why we weren't here last Thursday. We was out celebrating someone who really needs to be celebrated. So it was a good thing. We was in attendance. Our mom, my dad, and me and my brother, my wife, and yeah, it was a great time. Great time. But if you don't have Selma Self-Sacrifice, please get the book. I've been passing these books out like hotcakes lately. They've been selling, and I've been talking to people, and they've been buying them, and great reviews on it. So get the book. It's a great read. It will inspire you. Hear the story of the man who was the chief orchestrator of the voting rights movement. Not only you will hear that in the book, you will also hear, well, you also not read that in the book. You also read about his life story written by himself and Mrs. Kathy Walters. Great read. What else I got to say? We got a lot going on. If you haven't booked the tour, FD Reese Historical Tour, go to Vieta, look it up. Matter of fact, Google FD Reese, hit images, and you'll see me and my brother, see that picture behind him holding the book. Click on that, book a tour.
And if you got any reservations about booking the tour, man, look at them receipts on there.
Yeah.
Reviews don't lie.
Yeah.
Reviews tell the truth, man.
Yeah, reviews tell the truth. Reviews definitely tell the truth. So we got a lot of things coming up, but we gotta handle the show correctly. And y'all already know what time it is. Who always come at the top of the hour? None other than First Nurse Miss Kimberly Reese herself. So we're going to get our health segment for this week. Y'all already know she drop us jewels. She give us something that we can really write down. Get your pen and pad. We're gonna give y'all a minute to get your pen and pad. Write this down. I know what the subject is. This is for our fellas. Fellas, don't take it to heart. We need the truth, and we need to be held accountable. Now, some women may have this problem, but 99.999% of it.
Well, let's say that the women that's watching, make sure that you go share this with the fellas.
Yeah.
You know, and make sure you go to them and say, I hope you have an open mind and open your heart to receive this information.
Right.
It's gonna help you. It's coming with love. That's all.
It's coming with love. Come with love. So we'll be back in 30 seconds with First Nurse Kimberly Reese with the health segment for the week. So don't go nowhere. Hey, what's going on, Kim?
Hello. How y'all doing?
What's happening? I'm good.
Okay, good.
Let's go ahead and get into it. I know you finna hit a nerve with some of those fellas, but we deserve it.
Those big old stomachs. I'm just Hello, everyone. Happy Thankful Thursday. I'm happy to be here. It's the last Thursday of June, and again, we're still in Men's Health Month. So I decided to talk about a topic. It's called beer belly syndrome. So I'm getting my information actually from Bakersfield.com. They did an article by Dr. Deshaun and Mylan Cheyenne. It's Men's Health Special, the beer belly syndrome and how to cure it. So beer belly is known to be a man's curse. For some men, it starts in their 30s and it grows uncontrollably like a tumor. And beer by beer, it gets bigger and bigger if you don't do anything about it. So I thought this would be a good topic to talk about. A sign of a beer belly, it could be a sign of underlying issues, or it can create underlying issues such as diabetes, hypertension, stroke, cancer, high triglyceride levels, sleep apnea. And as I remember, I mentioned some of those things, sleep apnea last week or so, hypertension, all that can go hand in hand. Just having a big stomach, it can cause a lot of problems. So that's something I really want to discuss today. Why does the beer belly phenomenon occur? For some people, it could be age. As men age, the mid-abdominal muscles weaken and loses muscle mass. They have larger fat and larger thick fat areas around, so it's harder to lose. To make a short story, it's harder to lose. A lot of people have, again, their testosterone levels drop, and it's harder to lose weight as well. So that could be a big issue. On the next slide, also here are 3 steps you can have to reduce these serious health issues. Reduce your calories. The best thing for men to do is to do portion control. Take half your dinner order home instead of eating all of it in one setting. Also use smaller plates. Replace your calorie dense foods with healthier vegetables and proteins. And yes, drink less beer. Also increase your physical activities. Most days, men don't realize they don't move around as much. The Nike Fuel brand is something that they use to keep in their mind. Also, just do it. Get up and get your mindset. If you have goals to reach, go ahead, stop being lazy, stop procrastinating, go ahead and go to the gym, do what you set out to do. Next step, do sit-ups. That's a way to lose your midsection. You need to tighten up those mid-abdomen muscles by working out and working up at least 100 sit-ups per day. That's recommended. So here are some drinks that are very bad for your midsection. Sugary drinks such as pina coladas. You also have strawberry daiquiris. That's bad for you. Also mojitos. That's a sugary drink. Any sugary drink that creates abdominal fat. So these are just a picture and a vision of what to avoid, the type of drinks to avoid. So what are some drinks that can not increase as much abdominal fat? You have your red wine. Both white and red wines have respectable 125 calories for a 5-ounce glass. That's not as much calories as one beer. So red wine is a good substitute to drink instead of beer. And you also have on the next picture light beer. That's a beer you can use instead of the regular beer. Their claims are legit. Light beers have approximately 40 fewer calories per 12-ounce serving than regular beer. Also, spritzers. That's another drink that you can have in place of a beer. It's made with white wine and ice cold Settlers, like a club soda. You can mix that. That could be a replacement for beer. So also I want to bring up tequila, vodka, gin, and whiskey. Those are also some substitute instead of beer that you can use. They said that it's only 60 or 70 calories. And also track it, keep count of how much you drink. I also have a video on how beer is made.
Is made in 60 seconds. To start, we're going to take the grain, which has been malted, and we're going to combine that with hot water. Hot water mixing with the barley is going to create a chemical reaction, thus converting starches to sugar, which eventually is going to turn into wort, which you see here. That wort will then be separated from the mash tun, which you saw it in there, into the boil kettle, where it will be collected and then boiled. Boil usually lasts for about 60 minutes. The barley used to create the wort will be repurposed for livestock. During the boil, you're going to add hops, which give bitterness, aroma, and flavor. Wort is then boiled for about 60 minutes and then chilled and transferred into a fermenter that has been sanitized. Wort is the term for beer, which has been unfermented. So that wort is chilled. It is a sugary liquid that the yeast will then consume, creating alcohol and carbon dioxide during fermentation. During fermentation is where a wort turns into beer, and once that beer is created, you're going to then package that either in a keg or a bottle, wait till it's carbonated, and then enjoy.
There you have it. There was a quick short video on how beer is made. And also remember, beer has a lot of yeast in it. So that creates a lot of inflammation and contributes to the beer belly and beer gut. So I just wanted to share it. I thought it was a cute video I could share with you guys on how beer is made. And because I'm a believer in the Most High, I decided to go ahead and see what the Bible says about drinking in general. So Proverbs 20 verse 1, wine is a marker, strong drink is a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. On the next, also do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another with psalms, hymns, songs from the Spirit. And also on the flip side, it says Ecclesiastes 9 verse 7, go eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do. So in general, I read what Christians are allowed by God to drink alcohol, but we are not forbidden to get drunk. So I take it as just try to ask God, be led by the Spirit, don't get drunk, and men try to count your calories and ask God to lead you. And remember, do everything in moderation. And that's just my opinion with it.
We appreciate that. First nurse Kimberly Reese dropping the jewels. You got a couple of us, but hey, at least we got some substitute we can drink in moderation. Let the beer go. Drink a little wine. Don't get drunk off of it. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So first nurse Kimberly Reese dropped jewels once again. Listen, do not go nowhere. We will be right back. Me and my brother, we have a few topics to talk about. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Lineage Podcast.
I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed that we were going to march.
Nice.
We'll stand strong. Where we belong. It's not about yourself.
First of all, serving notice on our nation. It's Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese.
We march. We march. We march. Like to march.
He said, what shall we do? I said, we are going back. He said, Yeah.
Welcome back to the Lineage Podcast. Huh?
No, I was repeating you.
Oh, welcome back to the Lineage Podcast, man. We appreciate y'all joining us. First nurse Kimberly Reese just dropped some jewels for us. If you missed it, you can always go back and watch it on YouTube. Y'all know where to find us. The Lineage Podcast on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it. Y'all know what to do. Before we go before we get into our topics, y'all already know the Frederick D. Reese Foundation. We got to announce this. We have a backpack giveaway. It is at the County Line Ellenwood Library, 4331 River Road, Ellenwood, Georgia, 30294 on July the 22nd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're giving away book bags. Bring your children. They're going to learn about F.D. Reese. They're going to get some food. They are going to get some knowledge. And they are going to get some supplies in a book bag for school. That's a way to help the parents out and the children. The Frederick D. Reese Foundation is a community-driven organization. So, of course, y'all know anytime we are blessed to have an opportunity to give back to the community, that is exactly what we're going to do, walking in the spirit of our grandfather. The foundation is named after him. So what better way to give back to the community and like he did for his life. And we have a team, y'all. We're going to be split up. God has blessed us with a nice team, quality and quantity. We're going to be split up. Some of us will be in Philly, partnering with the New Georgia Project. We'll be working there in Philly, helping out there, representing the foundation. But we have a strong team that's going to stay back. And my brother will be back, and a few other, my mom, dad, and a few other people will be here in Anastasia to get this going out. We're going to have somebody there grilling. So y'all already know what time it is. Come out. If you know any children in need, please let them know. It is DeKalb County, but I promise you we will not turn a child away that needs a book bag, that needs supplies. So
Long must go.
Yeah. So please come out. July the 22nd, we'll keep posting that. We got about 23, 24 days to get that out there. So support that. Also tomorrow, yours truly, myself and my brother Alan Reese will be on the Cali Boy Jones show. It is going to be through Facebook. It's tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. You don't want to miss it. He's going to ask us all the questions, all the secrets,
Yes, sir.
things about the movement, things about Granddaddy that no one knows. We're going to drop the jewels. We're going to have a great conversation.
We're gonna tell it.
Yeah, we're going to tell it all. So he's excited. We're excited to be a guest on this show tomorrow night. So please tune in tomorrow at 7:30 on Facebook. We will be live on our profiles. So yeah, tune in. You don't want to miss that.
Man, yeah, you don't want to miss it because it's gonna have some valuable information.
Yeah.
We're talking about information, man. You know, I did a tour in Selma with some hometown activists and leaders in Selma last Saturday, man. And let me tell you, they were blown away because a lot of the knowledge that I was giving them about Selma, about Granddaddy, they did not know, man. And people just don't know. You know, the reason they don't know is because FD Reese would never say what he did. And a lot of people just respect FD, my grandfather, as a teacher, pastor, city council member, and they don't know the work of the movement of FD. They just respect him as he kind of grew in his professional career.
Right.
And man, it was like, wow, man, we talked about embezzlement. We talked about Dallas County Voters League, you know, how these other people have kind of made it seem like Selma was unorganized and they were just a courageous 8, and that was it. When I started breaking down the Dallas County Voters League, had 2,000 people ready to move. That's one of the reasons
right.
King wanted to come, because the Dallas County Voters League was organized.
And you know it.
I'm saying,
You know it.
they got to put some respect on. And I think the reason why, and I think Ms. Cece said this years ago, I think one of the reasons why the Dallas County Voters League does not get the props that they should get in today's time, because they are not a group anymore practicing. You know, the TLC was still around, SNCC was still around, and the Dallas County Voters League kind of faded away, you know, as Granddaddy and them started being, you know, on the city council. What should have happened is someone should have continued that, and someone else should have became president and continued that Dallas County Voters League. Then as these line black and white folks start coming to Selma for the Jubilee, the Dallas County Voters League would have been an organization say, no, here's the history. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should revive that, man.
Hey, bro, I was just about to say that. We can revive it, and you know, the Frederick Reese Foundation, we can operate in Alabama too.
Yeah, so yeah, man, that might be something we need to think about.
Lydia,
Bina, and Kirk and Stewart, and let's revive that thing, and you know, shoot.
Yeah. Speaking of Granddad and what he did, before we get into our topics, I know my brother, when he was doing a little research, not over the weekend. Was it over the weekend? But
this week, you know.
During this week. Yeah. And we found a few articles. Now, let me bring it to, let me try to paint the picture. This picture here is on our grandfather's book. If you look at the date at the bottom of that in the your right corner, it says 7/6/65. That is July the 6th, 1965. Okay, that is the day he was arrested on trumped up charges for embezzlement.
That's right.
Now July the 6th, 1965. So now let's go here. This is the New York Times. Go ahead.
Who you say? Who that is?
New York Times.
New York Times, probably the most prominent newspaper in the United States.
Right.
I just want to let people know this is the New York Times. This is not AL.com. Not knocking them.
Right.
New York Times.
Right.
Is the newspaper.
Right.
Especially during that time.
Exactly.
That everyone saw. So now you can go, bro.
Yeah, and as you see the top, it says Reese released from Selma jail. It says on today. I think that's the last word. But anyway, I know you can't see this. I circled it, but basically it's telling about when Granddaddy got out of jail. I don't want to paraphrase. I know, Alan, you can talk about that more. I can read some of it.
Yeah, read some of it.
But it says
No.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go
Selma,
on.
Alabama, the Reverend F.D. Reese of the Ebenezer Baptist Church and integrated leader charged with embezzlement of civil rights funds were released from jail today to the shouts and cheers of a group of his followers. Mr. Reese, president of Dallas County Voters League, an affiliate of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Southern Christian Leadership Conference, was freed under $5,000 bond.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read a couple more. Deputies whisked him out of the Dallas County jail by a side door, avoiding a crowd of about 75 civil rights workers
Mm-hmm.
and Mrs. Reese, grandma by his side. Shout out to grandma.
There you go. She still lives.
Who were waiting to greet him.
Mm-hmm.
Minutes later, however, the returned to downtown Selma in another car and was surrounded by 25 supporters. Mr. Reese canceled an announced news conference tonight and spoke for about 20 minutes at a mass rally at Brown's Chapel.
There you go.
He opened his comments by saying that when he was told of the charges, I certainly could not agree.
Stop before you say this.
Go ahead.
I want y'all to listen to these words my brother about to read. What FD said about the racist white man in 1965. The kahunas on him to say this.
Yes, sir. He told the newsman before the talk that he had no intention of resigning as president of the Voters League. I'm not about to leave Selma. Check this out, FD. Come hell or high water.
Boy, MJ.
Man, he said they talked about him. They talked about embezzling. Check this out. These are verbatim quote. The white man embezzled my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother. If we could collect all the white man embezzled off us, he would go in rags. I'll leave it there.
Now, this is a thing. This is New York Times. But when we talk about the Selma movement, and see, by them being quiet about this, it only makes our story stronger.
Right.
And the thing is, and it makes the truth come out. Now, FD go back to that picture, MJ, of FD being arrested.
Okay. I got you. Here we go.
Go back to the picture. That's July the what?
6.
Okay. Now go back to the New York Times.
Okay.
Excuse me for my voice. We was at Six Flags yesterday. My voice kind of that says Thursday, July the 8th.
Yes, sir.
Now, 2 days, MJ.
Mm-hmm.
FD reset in jail.
Yes,
a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And his bond was posted when he went in.
Correct.
This is where the story of Martin Luther King, the SCLC, John Lewis Alden was silent.
Correct.
Of the arrest of FD Reese.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the truth that come out since people want to be quiet. See, we just come back with the truth and the truth knocking in your face, and then you look like Boo Boo the Fool. Now, for 2 days he sat in jail. The only reason why Abernathy came on the 8th is because when we talk about J.L. Chestnut getting on national TV in Birmingham saying that because he was in jail on the 6th. He let him sit in jail. Dr. King was silent.
Correct.
On the 6th and the 8th, Abernathy Chestnut got on national TV and said, if the SCLC does not come to the back of FD Reese, we're going to ask that the federal government subpoenas them in corporate and individually. 2 days went by.
2 days.
Again, that's when Abernathy came the July the 8th in the evening with the money to get FD Reese out of jail.
Now watch this. I'll read this. It says the Reverend Ralph Abernathy, Dr. King's top lieutenant, rushed here from Atlanta last night to investigate and demanded to see a list of Mr. Reese's accusers. Mr. Abernathy said Mr. Reese had not stolen any money and his activities were none of the business of the Dallas County grand jury that indicted him.
And now remember this. Now some people say I'm kind of pushing on this. Now Joe T. Smith, and the mayor of Selma, Alabama, at the time, which was mayor for 36 years,
yes,
said that it was Negroes who came and asked them to investigate and bring those charges up on FD Reese.
Yeah, he said it here. Selma's Mayor Joe Smitherman insisted today the complaint had been filed by Negroes active in the movement here, but not in the leadership capacity that Reese was.
Now, I wonder what Negroes said it. Now, look, they can call me conspiracy theory or what, but we're finna paint this picture. Now, remember, Martin Luther King then was upset with F.D. Reese now because F.D. Reese would not allow the Dallas County Voters League to incorporate upon the SCLC. It was about money.
Correct.
This history. Now, people could be mad that we sharing Black folks' history or whatnot, this and that. This is the truth. Truth shall set you free.
Correct.
They was upset with F.D. Reese, Doyle, Gildersleeve, because it was F.D. Reese, Doyle, and Gildersleeve who was like, nah. And F.D. Reese told Dr. King, the Dallas County Voters League is older than you guys. We can't do that. See what was going on, the SCLC was not giving. They were not giving the Dallas County Voters League the money that people all over the world was donating.
Correct.
Because what people got to realize is this, just like they do Selma today, they was doing Selma like that during that time. They were not giving Selma residents, the people who was losing their jobs, the money that the people was donating from all over the world. They was not giving them the money to pay their bills.
Correct.
What's going on is that when white folks were seeing Black folks a part of marches and marching, so what was happening when they see them, whoever they work for, when they work for the white folks, they would lose their job. The money that was getting donated to Selma from all over the nation was supposed to help the people pay their rent, electric bill, water bill, whatever bills that they had until they can get another job. And see, we got the artifact. See, that's why I say, boy, receipts don't lie. And my grandparents can throw away none, and I thank God for it. We got the artifacts that we don't mind releasing to show that Mr. Doyle was getting on Abernathy because they were not sending the money. Mr. Doyle was like, look, I'm not finna go in a pissing contest with you about what it's owed to Selma, Alabama. You making all this money off the struggle that the Dallas County Voters League done. You making millions, MJ. Of what the Dallas County, the foundation that the Dallas County Voters League done laid.
Correct.
And now you don't want to do right by us? Hold on, homie, we got a problem. Basically, that's what he was saying in today's term.
Right. And check this. It said it has learned. I want y'all to know how serious this is, because a lot of people that's listening will think, okay, it was just a small town. But I want y'all to, I'm finna read this and understand how serious this was. It has been learned that the FBI is also watching the Reese case closely for possible violations of mail fraud statutes. Wilson Baker, Selma's public safety director, who arrested Mr. Reese yesterday, left today for New Jersey and Ohio, along with Rufus Head, state investigator, to interview persons who had contributed to the local civil rights movement. They made a similar trip to California last week and said contributors had told them their contributions were not intended for Mr. Reese's personal use. Both displayed today to newsmen photo stats of checks totaling $7,950 that they said Mr. Reese had deposited into a Montgomery bank account held jointly with his wife. A check was written to relatives of Mr. Reese's wife and others as payments on his furniture, home, and clothing, they said. Now, I want to highlight that on his furniture, home, and clothing. Understand that when people were donating from all around the nation, these funds were intended for people to pay their rent, their mortgage, their water bill, their phone bill, whatever bills they had.
But Jay, that right there.
Go ahead, bro.
But if you keep reading, they say it went from 7,000 to almost 60.
Let me keep reading.
I don't know if it's on that particular article.
Okay, got you.
7,000 to 60. Okay.
Oh, so they saying
they ballooned up, LJ. Ballooned. That's why he said this is why J.L. Chestnut was saying these are trumped up charges. Because it's impossible. And out of all that, F.D. Reese, now look, everybody know when the FBI looking at you,
correct,
they got to pay something.
They got a case.
Guess what? F.D. Reese went to trial.
Yes, sir.
And was found not guilty.
Not guilty.
Now, my thing and what my goal is this week, I will be hitting the New York Times up Say, y'all gonna spend as much time today getting the story right
Yes,
as
sir.
y'all was sitting up there putting out them New York Times.
Yes,
what
sir.
The whole nation saw and tried
Yes,
to
sir.
get F.D. Reese, bro.
Yes, sir.
Come on,
Yes,
MJ.
Yeah.
Come on. So when
Yeah.
we talk the way we talk, because people in Selma has been silent, leaders like John Lewis and all them have been silent all these years. Dr. King, now I can't blame King. King was dead.
Right.
And I can't blame his kids because they don't know.
Right.
But the ones who were living, the ones who live now, who know the truth, we coming for you because we coming for the truth. We got artifacts, we got these papers and stuff. So you might well just come out and just tell the truth and start speaking the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
This don't make no sense that you don't hear now article. I saw in the New York Times that said that F.D. Reese was found not guilty of what was going on or what they put in the New York Times.
Right. And then even if you search and the embezzlement comes up, they don't say he went to trial and was found not guilty.
It never comes up.
It never comes up. Yeah.
That's a shame, MJ.
Right. Right. We also got the New York Times with this. Hold on. This is the protest of this Saturday. Now, we talk about the Teachers March with January the 22nd, 1965. So the New York Times was posted Saturday, January 23rd. And this is an article about the teachers. Anybody that want it, I got it in my phone. I send it to you. So you
reorder it.
So yeah, so you can dig it up. Yeah, we finna frame this. This is gonna be great for the schools. And hey, y'all better book us now because we listen, man. Book us to come to your school, your church, whatever. It's serious now. It's real serious. So this is also a New York Times article about the Teachers March, which when we play in the beginning of the podcast, that is what Granddad is describing. Here is the news article wrote January 23rd, 1965 in the New York Times. Also, now this is I thought was really I'm gonna read that. I'm finna read this one. Okay, so this says, as you can see, this was not great. Now listen, y'all see these years is 1965. So after he got out of jail trying to get Trump trial for embezzlement, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, he went right back at him. It is what it is.
And that's is that the New York Times again?
That's New York Times again.
Oh,
so
boy.
See, this is the crazy part. This is why it's difficult for us to understand that anybody that we tell the story, whether it's on the tours, whether it's talking personally at events, this is what makes it it's a hard pill to swallow, because if all of this was in the New York Times during this time, then that has to let you know that the silence was done by design.
It was done on purpose.
You can't make it up.
Can't make
it up. So check this out. I want you to show how Granddad was stirring the pot. I'll read this. I can speed read, y'all, but follow me. A civil rights leader predicted today that Negroes would try to enroll in a new private white school in Selma if state funds are used for tuition grants. A privately operated school is being established by white parents. Public schools are scheduled to be desegregated this fall. Leaders of the private school foundation say they are hopeful the state will provide grants and aid through a bill pending in the legislature. If tuition grants are paid to white pupils, check this out. Reverend F.D. Reese, a spokesman for the civil rights movement in Selma, declared Negroes most surely will apply for enrollment too. They will probably appeal to federal court if turned down, he said. Mr. Reese, he was a teacher then, y'all, a Negro high school teacher. Remember, he led the Teachers March about 6 months before this. Is president of the Dallas County Voters League. Alabama has a tuition grant law, but a 3-judge federal court last year prohibited its use for pupils attending a private white school at Tuskegee. The court, however, declined to rule out grants altogether. The bill now pending in the legislature makes no mention of race or color. It provides that children can qualify for tuition grants if, in the judgment of their parents, it would be detrimental to their physical, emotional health or subject them to hazards to personal safety. Basically, they would word getting out that
state funds for a private school. That happens today.
Right.
It happens today.
Right.
They finna use state funds. That it's called vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
State give about $6,000-7,000 vouchers to
Mm-hmm.
a child, and the parent probably pay another 3, 4, 5 for them to go to private schools, so they don't have to be in public school.
Right.
So FD was fighting, saying that basically, if y'all the state finna give these white folks this money, y'all gonna make sure we get we gonna apply for it because we have that right to do that.
Right.
He didn't play, bro. And see, this is why Mayor Smitherman said FD Reese used to ask for unrealistic demands.
That's right.
Man, you don't have them like that no more. MJ.
Right.
My only thing is that why, even the New York Times now, why we began to be silent of FD Reese.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason?
Yeah.
Why? You was writing about him then.
Right.
He was the leader. They'll tell you, Mayor Smith say, the leader of the Selma movement. But then we got silent on him.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely gonna get to the bottom of it, but you know, we doing the work to get his name out there. So y'all already know what time it is. It's gonna get out there. But it makes our case very strong. See, if I had to go to court, I'm putting my best suit on, I'm getting my line up, and I'm going to that court with my chest out because we have artifacts and proof and letters and everything else. So yeah, it's an uphill battle, but it's well worth it.
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Fun. The journey is always the fun part.
Yeah, so let's shift to our last topic. If people ain't heard, the Supreme Court guts affirmative action in college admissions. I'm gonna read some of it, and then I'm gonna ask your opinion, Alan, what you think about it. But yeah, Supreme Court guts affirmative action in college admission. This came out today, a few hours ago, and the Supreme Court ruled colleges and universities can no longer take race into consideration as specific basis in admissions. A landmark decision that overturns long-standing precedent that has benefited Black and Latino students in higher education. Chief Justice John Roberts, who wrote the opinion for the conservative majority, said Harvard and University of North Carolina admission programs violated the Equal Protection Clause because they failed to offer measurable objectives to justify the use of race. The opinion claims the court was not expressly overturning prior cases authorizing race-based affirmative action and suggested that how race has affected an applicant's life can still be part of how their application is considered. Liberal justices slammed the opinion in their dissent, saying the decision will make it particularly impossible. Let me get that out of the way. Particularly impossible for colleges and universities to take race into action. The Supreme Court says colleges first can no longer take race into consideration as specific basis for granting admission, a landmark decision overturning long-standing precedent that has benefited Black and Latino students in higher education. Now check this out. The practice have been in place since the 1960s as a tool to prevent discrimination at selective institutions, many of which historically only admitted white students. Now, universities across the country seeking diversity will be charged with finding other ways to reach Black and Latino students. The task researchers and education officials say will not be easy. Wisdom Cole, that's a national director for NAACP, said it's a dark day in America. Affirmative action has been a beacon of hope for a generation of Black students. Cole said in a statement Thursday, it stood as powerful force against the insidious poison of racism and sexism, aiming to level the playing field and provide a fair shot at a high quality education for all. Students across the country are wide awake to the clear and present danger encroaching on their classrooms. Before you get into it now, two of our Justice Clarence Thomas and Ketanji, I hope I'm pronouncing her, Ketanji Jackson, they kind of got into it. They criticized each other in unusual sharp language in the affirmative action. And I'll read a little bit of what both of they said. Of course, the Supreme Court third affirmative action, you know that, Justice Clarence Thomas. Now, the majority of the majority opinion authored by Chief Justice John Roberts, that's the fella to the left, said, you know, they can't use for granting admission, right? But what happened was, in Roberts' opinion, but Thomas, who in now watch this, Thomas, who in 1991 became the second Black person to ascend to the nation's highest court, issued a lengthy that attacked such admissions programs and tore into arguments. Now, it she went against what his opinion was, and she's the first Black woman to join the court. Y'all know that, who pinned her on for. Now watch this. Now, mind you, Thomas made Yale Law School. He made through Yale Law School for affirmative action, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here it is. Now, listen to what he said and read what he said, then what she said, then we'll get into it. He says, even in the segregated South where I grew up, individuals were not the sum of their skin color. He said, while I'm painfully aware of the social and economic ravages which have befallen my race and all who suffer discrimination, I hold out enduring hope that this country will live up to its principles so clearly enunciated in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, that all men are created equal, are equal citizens, and must be treated equally before law. Now, while he did this, Ms. Jackson, she stared blankly. Said she stared blankly, and in which she went after Thomas. Concurrence and accused the majority of having a let them eat cake obliviousness, and how the ruling announced colorblindness for all. Now, this is the last thing I'm gonna read. Justice Thomas ignites too many more straw to list or fully extinguish here. The takeaway is that those who demand that no one think about race, she said it's a classic pink elephant paradox, refuse to see, much less solve for the elephant in the room, the race-linked disparities that continue to impede achievement of our great nation's full potential. Now, I'll ask your opinion. What do you think about the decision, and what do you think about their disagreement?
First of all, I got to say, Clarence Thomas is not Black. MJ, I'm sorry for you to be a Black man, America, and be blind. Be blind. You think? My dad asked me a question the other day. He said, "You know, I wonder what the Ku Klux Klan is doing. They not suited in their robes and all the stuff." I said, "They're judges, they're police officers, lawyers. They work in the DA. They've gotten smart with the way they move. And for you to believe that America is ready for you to take away the affirmative action, you're out of your mind, MJ. And this is a disgrace that and see, this is what when Black people like him make decisions, and what it gives the racist white people, it says, look what he had a choice not to do it. Y'all made a decision for your own. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He is the definition of a person that was once a slave, got free, and became a slave catcher. I'm being honest with you. I am sick and tired of him being up there. A lot of Black folks fought for him to be up there, and he has been a disgrace off a lot of the decisions he's made and got behind, MJ. I think and this is why, and you know, and I say this with a clear heart. I truly believe that a Black man understands his race when he marries a Black woman.
I agree.
I truly believe that, because when we have pillow talk, the only woman in this world that's truly gonna know what a Black man goes through is a Black woman.
Facts.
As his wife.
Facts.
I think he gets blinded because, not saying she's not a good wife, not saying she's not good to him, not saying that she's not submissive and she does the things a wife does. I'm saying she cannot truly lay down next to him and understand what it is to be Black in America. And guess what? We know that when we tell our partners things, we tend to lend on some of the things and the advice that they gives us, MJ. He is a disgrace to the Black man in America. And I'm highly disappointed in him. So that should tell you my answer on how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. And Miss Jackson, she said it. It's the elephant in the room, man. We already know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
You know what time it is. We know what this country was built on. And we know the progress that has to take place to get us. And laws are what will hold people accountable, bro.
So once be a product of something,
Right,
and then destroy it.
right. You got into Yale because of affirmative action.
And that's off any race.
Right.
To be a product and for that law to stand for you and help you rise in the justice and law world, to be able to sit there and be a Supreme Court justice,
Mm-hmm.
and to sit there and agree with destroying it. That is what we call in the hood the person who got to be the man, the crab in the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And he get to the top and he pushed the rest of them down, bro.
Right. Right.
He's the person that gets to the top and he don't want nobody else up there with him.
Right.
He is the epitome of the house Negro.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one in the house telling everybody else in the field that, look, we's okay.
Right.
We sick, master.
Mm-hmm.
We's have a headache.
Right.
He is that man. He is Samuel L. Jackson on the Django.
Yeah,
in
bro.
real life.
And to be honest, I'm gonna be honest, man. It's time for like we say, it's about the party. You know how when let's just use it, political party, how Republicans get in the House, how they get in there, and they are about their party first.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that some of them may disagree on the policies that Republicans are passing, but guess what they do? They come out together. And what I'm saying is, I think for us to move forward, whenever we get in some seats,
Mm-hmm.
if it has benefited blacks, if it's gonna benefit blacks, if it's about the black agenda, if I was in the seat, whether I supported it privately or didn't support it privately, guess what I'm gonna do when I get out of? I'm gonna say I support. It's gonna benefit Black Americans, which is long overdue in the United States of America, and I'm gonna support it. And it is a great bill, and we're gonna move forward because we have to. We have to do that because we know it's not an even playing field. So we got to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get in there and say, if it's benefiting blacks, man, I'm for it.
And this is what they invite the wrong people to the White House and to the courthouse and where they reside and make all these decisions, because everybody go to the White House and they to wherever they make their laws, they decisions. Everybody goes there and they be wild. MJ, right. I promise you, if they let me go to the White House, I ain't gonna look up.
Yeah.
Hey, my ancestors been here, so I've been here.
Right.
We here for the black agenda. How about we come up and talk about reparations and understand the 300-year gap between white and black America as far as wealth and how that has to do with slavery?
Correct.
How about we had that conversation? And this is where the Democrats, to me, they weak, because Joe Biden said, if you're black and you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, if I were Joe Biden, I'd pack the house, MJ.
Right.
See, one thing about them Republicans that I do kind of agree with them on, boy, they play to win.
They play to win, bro.
They play to win, MJ.
Right.
The Democrats, we play just to be in the game.
Right.
They play to win.
Right.
So if the Democrats want to play to win, pack the house.
Pack the house.
I wouldn't care what they say, MJ.
Right.
I wouldn't care what they say.
I'll be that guy like Granddaddy. Remember, they used to come and he used to ask, how many blacks you gonna hire? See, they put a bill in front of me before I read it. Before I read this, don't come to me with no bull. Is this benefiting black people?
That's right.
Oh, it ain't. I don't even want to read it.
And that's what FD understood. I got to be for my people because we so far behind.
Correct.
How can you make a decision like we equal and we not?
Right. We can't catch up if we run in the same speed.
We not gonna catch up.
We not, bro.
So that's my point with him. That's why he need to go bleach his skin, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
you told me that. I guess I ain't black then.
MJ.
I guess I'm purple because
I promise you, bro. He is a disgrace to us, MJ.
And I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of like the problem we have, how they do Selma. We were just talking, we was on a we're connecting with I ain't gonna spill it, but we're connecting with a group. But our team was on a Zoom last night. I'm trying to get some things together and in the benefit of Selma to a certain extent. But we understand some of our talking points was Selma is pretty much a forgotten city. So he is doing to the affirmative action what the civil rights leaders and everyone else do to Selma. You benefit from it. And then when it's time for you to put back into what you benefit from, as simple as a yes, I agree with this bill, just you forget about where you came from. And so that's the same thing, that the problem that we have with the civil rights leaders, and we be honest, the John Lewises of the world, when it's time to say something public, or when it's time to put your money where your mouth is, when you up and you know where to get the checks from to get Selma money, I don't even care. When it's time to get funding and everything to put back into Selma or get jobs or you have the power to do this, and you don't do it. All you do is you come on the first weekend of March, you sit at that bridge with them chairs they got up there for you. You say about 3 paragraphs, you sit down and you get back in your car, and you go back to wherever you want to.
That's right. And that's one of the reasons why John Lewis' name would not be on the Edmonds Pettus Bridge.
Oh no, sir.
Yeah, we knew it right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good luck.
Instead of know the truth.
Right. Right.
What are the truth? But what I said, Clarence Thomas, man, I'm just disappointed in him, MJ. I'm disappointed. Now look, prime example, know how to win. Look how the Republicans turn on Trump.
Look at that.
But guess what? They use him to do what he need to do. Put them folks in them seats to make these decisions.
That's right.
Think about when Barack Obama, a lot of people don't realize all these federal judges around here in the United States, he left those seats open because he thought Hillary Clinton was gonna go in. See that? And he thought she was gonna fill them. What happened? Trump won, he filled all of them.
Yep.
Right now, they moving Trump case in Florida to an area where Trump put the judge in. How y'all think they're gonna come out? You get what I'm saying, bro? So what I'm saying, the Republicans play to win.
Right.
We on the side who's okay just being in the game.
Yeah, we happy being in the stadium, bro.
We wild. We like, oh, while I'm here.
The whole time they drawing up plays.
They don't care now how the stadium look. You think the owner care about how the stadium look? He want to win the game.
Want to win the game.
The owners, the Republicans, we the fans, the Democrats that been sitting in the stadium, just happy to be there.
Okay, I'll be good. God, Tristan, I'm gonna post this. This is what he said, and if y'all know Tristan, y'all know this is not a shocker. FD Reese is who John Lewis wish he was. Okay, now let's move past that one. Unfortunately, I agree with that interpretation. I think Angel was talking about yeah. And Jeff said Selma frozen in time. 100%, man. 100%. We were just talking about that yesterday. It's like it's stuck in the 60s. It's stuck in the 60s. So I honestly, man, I promise you, I think, big. If I had some money, some of the things we talk about, we want a Oculus type of thing where kids can come take field trips and look through Oculus and learn about the history of the civil rights, how we want to do that, things of that nature. If I had some money, I would really put it into Selma to bring more people there.
That's right.
I think some condos need to be built downtown that'll probably make more people live there, and you know what I'm saying. So it's some things, but it's gonna take money. But it can be done in more of a speedy fashion if some of these people with power and some of these people with the right connects would just understand they owe Selma some gratitude, man, and it looks forgotten. So I think it's gonna happen, but that could be a long shot, but I think it's gonna grow as we get the tourism, keep the tourism,
Yeah.
coming there. So it's cool, but I think that's the last thing we had to talk
Yeah,
about.
the last thing we got to close with that one.
Yeah, we got to close with that.
'Cause that-
Y'all keep all the church announcements in your heart. Remember what I said, the book bag drive. Check out the show tomorrow.
Donate. Go to FD Reese.
Oh yeah.
You can still donate for it, man. We appreciate. Man, we've been getting a lot of donations.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
Yes.
Just continue to donate. It's going for a good cause, man. To a good
Mhm.
cause. Let me say that.
That's
And,
right.
you can go to either one of our pages. Just hit the link, or you can go to fdreesefoundation.org and hit donate. And
Yeah.
put whatever you want to put toward this book bag drive, man.
Yeah.
I think it's 150. But if y'all keep donating, we're gonna add some more. You know,
Right.
I don't care if we got to go to Walmart or something to grab some more book bags and supplies.
Right.
We'll do it. We want to make sure these kids have what they need to start the
Right.
school year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on out July the 22nd and get your children some book bags. And I must say, these book bags gonna have some good supplies in it.
That's right.
I've seen it. I've seen the supplies. I'm like, oh yeah, some good supplies. And so y'all come out and support and be involved in the community and say what's up and get a little knowledge. So we appreciate y'all joining us, man. We'll see y'all next Thursday, and take care of yourself. Look, y'all, First Nurse Kimberly Reese now. Now we know how it is, even though I'm not a fan of 4th of July too much, but we already know what time it is. Anytime you give us with the melanin in our skin any reason to celebrate,
We're gonna celebrate.
we're gonna celebrate.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're gonna have a cool out there with some of that yeast liquid that First Nurse Kimberly Reese is talking about.
Yeah.
So put the yeast liquid down, get you a bottle of wine and
yeah,
celebrate.
man. Get you something straight.
Get you something straight.
Go work out. Go walk.
Yeah. I'm a Douce man myself. I think I have drunk one beer in the last.
I kind of stay away from it now, bro.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
drink it.
Yeah,
The yeast is just not good.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want to stay young, active, with your grandkids, great grandkids, whatever, man, you got to bag away from it, and you got to bag away from the table, man. A lot of the stuff too, too much meat, too much carbs, pasta, cheese, and all that stuff that just don't agree with us like that. Try to put more vegetables in your daily, in your mouth daily.
Right.
Help
right.
you and get the minerals in you. People
That's
talk about protein and all that, man. Your body need minerals.
Mhm.
So yeah, just drink plenty of water. Electrolytes good for you, man. Stay away from the sweets. I ain't gonna say stop eating sweets, but
Cut back.
if you're used to two, like me, I like 2 pieces of cake, other corner. I don't need the corner cake sometimes. Too much icing on it. Maybe I just need the little end, the middle part, just icing on the top.
Right.
Be mindful. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate y'all joining us. And in the famous word of FD Reese, after every night that comes a day, I ain't seen it fail yet.
That's right.
We'll see y'all next week.